You know how a few days ago I did a reaction video where I reacted to a compilation of hit and run drivers that when they go in traffic they cause an accident and drive away. Well, I have been in an accident multiple times since I started driving, which has been just under a year ago, believe it or not. But in one of them, in February, I had a rather brutal accident story, but luckily it didn't turn out to be too ugly. I left the neighborhood. I was driving this car in my neighborhood as I was preparing to turn right, and a female pedestrian jumped into my way, and as soon as I made the right turn, I struck her by accident, and I saw falling out. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta pull over to the right. Again, she jumped in my way, she cut me, and I did not see what was in front of me. I did not see what was coming, and I immediately pulled over to the right, and eventually the lady knocked on my window, and I did not understand what she was saying at first because she doesn't speak any English. She's a Hispanic girl, and when she first knocked on my window, she was saying a few things in Spanish, and I said "tú hablas inglés," and she said no. Well, no in English is also, no in Spanish is the same as its English version. And then she started saying like, I'm gonna call the police, this and that, but of course in Spanish. And at first I did not have so much of a clue. Then eventually I realized that she was speaking Spanish, and man, I was so much under pressure at that. Like the first time she said exactly, voy a llamar la policía. And I asked her like, how much should I amend? Since I was so much into pressure, like when I asked her, like at first I said cuando, but that means when in Spanish, and I said cuánto, like how much should I pay, or how much should we sell this for in case if we had to sell this. And she said $1,000. And like eventually the police came over. Well, the crazy thing was though that the Hispanic lady who I hit thought it was a hit and run, because I realized that I did not have my insurance with me. When at the scene, I had to run to my house to get my insurance card so that I could provide it to officers. And I was under so much pressure, and after I came back to the scene, the officers were already there, and then they detained me for about 20 to 30 minutes. They handcuffed me, they put me in the car. There were two officers at the scene, one female and one male. I was handcuffed by a male officer, and then moments later a witness came to describe what happened, and somehow it was not a hit and run. The lady who I hit claimed that it was a hit and run just because I had to run home and get my insurance. But like in that case, like that's not considered a hit and run. A hit and run is typically when you hit somebody and you intentionally drive off without providing the insurance information. And like I had to get my insurance from my home, and basically that's why she thought it was a hit and run. But a witness was on my side, and she said, oh, you know, like this happened, that happened. And it was eventually proven that it was not a hit and run. The female officer though, who eventually unhandcuffed me, yes, I was detained, by the way. I somehow was not arrested. I was detained. And female officer did ask me a bunch of questions, and at the end I said to her like, hey, are you gonna test me? She's like, why would I test you? Like, are you under the influence of alcohol or drugs? And I said no. And like I felt like, because at the scene of accidents, officers usually do test people, like what you call a sobriety test, when the officer is feeling suspicious about someone driving drunk under the influence of either alcohol or drugs. And so it turned out that pedestrian who I by accident hit, luckily she was not terribly injured. It was just a minor injury, and the officers let me go eventually, but like I still expressed a lot of shame and guilt. I said, oh, what I did was so wrong. I felt rather lucky that I didn't injure her too badly, or I didn't kill her, because like I thought, oh, that crap could have happened, like I could have killed her. But yeah, that was a very, very brutal accident story that I've had. Like, I was eventually let go by the officers. That was crazy. Like that was the craziest of officer encounters that I've had. Like, I was detained by officers twice, but yeah, like in this story, I was detained for like 20 or 30 minutes. Alright guys, so that's it for this story time. Well, at some point I am willing to do another reaction video based on criminal cases, but like DUI arrests. Last week I reacted to a compilation of hit and run drivers. Today or tomorrow I'll react to a compilation of DUI drivers. So that's it. I'll see you guys.